Wow. His chiefs and administrators that have done such a service for so many years. Obviously, it's very obvious this morning, I want my team in place, which is what mayors do. And as I went about that, I knew not just public safety, but public works, you named the department. I realized the appointments are probably my highest responsibility. I look for experience. I look for passion, collaboration. You know, it's no mistake that Chief Munoz can pick up the phone. I've watched him and talk to FEMA during a crisis, talk to the State Emergency Center during a crisis, reach out to our county commissioners, and each of you. We're in this together. And what my appointments bring is collaboration, experience, and the passion to get it done. They're working while Houstonians and because my next appointment brought his friends and colleagues from far and apart. When I was looking for a fire police chief, I used my experience of 30 years as chairman of criminal justice in the state Senate. I've worked with chiefs, law enforcement from not only across this state, but across this nation. Being called, how are y'all doing it in Texas? How are you running a smart and tough criminal justice system? I've been with law enforcement during the good days, and I've been there when we lost a hero. So as I was taking my serious approach, finding the best police chief I could find, in his position as a ranger and also focusing on HPD, primarily task force dealing with narcotics and public corruption. He was a regular in my state Senate office. So as people would recommend him, and you're going to hear from some in a moment, Sheriff Fagan, Fort Bend, called me and said, wow, you got one of the best. The recommendations started coming in. And I already knew that. Yes, he's from Katy, one of our suburbs. But that was just because they were smart enough to get a retiring Texas Ranger, investigative tools, leadership skills. The rank and file want to work for him. So I'm excited. So let me first share my time with Commissioner Garcia, who was one of the first to call me to tell me what an excellent crime fighter and administrator I'd reached out to. Commissioner, thank you for being here, and I'll yield some of my time to you.
Thank you, Mayor. Members of council, it's an honor to be here this morning. To all the distinguished guests that are here, Mayor, I think your fire chief's first active duty is going to be to enforce the fire code today. But to that end, let me just say thank you for the selections that you made, both in your fire chief and in your police chief. When I was sheriff in the role that Sheriff Gonzalez today runs impeccably well, I needed collaboration. I needed support. I needed resources to help me get my job done. At every turn, I won't go into the details of those cases, but I think a police chief's number one job, as I've tried to do it when I was in that role, was protecting the public trust. And no one likes to deal with the issue of public corruption, but that is probably one of the most fundamental responsibilities that we have in this role. And Noe was always the person that I could count on to work with my team to ensure that we were protecting the public trust. But as well as there are other actors that try to victimize our community, Noe and his team of Rangers, Company A, I think it is, were always there to support my men and women to deal with whether it was gangs or. So I'm honored to share some of your time, Mayor, but just to tell you, you've made a phenomenal choice in Noe, and I know that the collective experience, 32 years overall in law enforcement, the task force, the multi-agency task forces that he has worked on and been a part of. All of that collective experience is something that any one of us who've ever done that, leverage it to the leadership roles that we ultimately assume to. And I'm confident that that collective experience will be seen in the work of Noe as our police chief.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.